Hello there, everyone. Welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den. Unfortunately, no new video today up aside from this. Between the holiday season, kids, work, and just being exhausted, it's just about 3 in the morning here. I've been trying to record for an hour and a half, and nothing's just really worked out right. I keep losing track, losing my spot. Hell, I didn't even settle on a topic to talk about till tonight. And I do things kind of off the cuff. I've tried scripting, but scripting never really quite works out well for me for whatever reason. And so going off of, a train of thought is usually how I tend to go about things and try to, other than, what I write out when I'm doing character guides and stuff. That's a lot easier to structure and set up, obviously. But point being, haven't really settled on anything for today. I'll be getting the poll up today for voting on what class is going to be covered next, and we'll let that run about a week or so. Try to come up with more videos. I wanted to try to talk about history and context and the things that you can infer and the interconnectedness of things and how I use all of that information from my background in history to make my own gaming and DMing style that much better, that much more interesting and flavorful, and try to bring those ideas to all of you so that way you could infer something new or you could just learn something new, even if it's not something you're necessarily going to apply it to your gaming. But it just wasn't working out. I need to spend a little bit more time letting them marinate, thinking about how I'm going to structure it, because referring to a World War II history class with Professor Cook and getting a chance to listen to a survivor from the city of Dresden speak about her experience when the city was bombed to the point that a firestorm erupted from just the sheer amount of explosives raining down on the city, enough so that the heat got to the point that the asphalt started to turn liquid and begin running down like this pitch, just going down what's ever left of the streets. And talking about, again, going with interconnectedness and the kinds of things that you can infer from a historical context, or just the overall shape and structure of different items, what you can infer from all of that. Like how an axe like this, a hand axe, a tomahawk, has a lot of offensive power behind it, but really not a whole lot defensively available here. And how that changes as soon as you add in a shield to the mix, like you would see with the different Scandinavian peoples, especially before swords really took over. And the amount of damage that you can do with something like this is incredible. But again, very, very low defensive power for this. And so it definitely is something that needs to be paired with a shield to give you a greater degree of survivability. Or how something like a longsword, something that could be used one or two-handed, wasn't really necessarily the most viable. I mean, you'd still have some examples with shields and mail armor with the gambesons, but stuff like this really not coming into prevalence until you get to a time when full plate mail armor is available, because the plate mail offers enough protection to allow the wearer to not have to necessarily have a shield. I mean, you can throw a shield on with it if you wanted and be even more indestructible, but most decently made plate mail was going to do the job perfectly well for most of the combat situations you might find yourself in. And then, doing half sorting and what you can infer from all of the different fighting techniques and the like, and the shape of a weapon, the materials it's made out of. Like how you go over to Japanese culture and how shields are almost non-existent there, even though that they have their own version of two-handed swords with the katana and then also other weapons. You just can learn a lot of different things just by looking at and examining things. And Oda Nobunaga is a fascinating one, especially when it comes to Yasuke. That's definitely an interesting story. And I know there's been a lot of back and forth on all of that and the veracity of the claims that Yasuke was actually a samurai. I'm inclined to think that he was because, well, if any daimyo was going to do it, Oda Nobunaga definitely would have been the one to do that. I mean, not just because he was inclined to run things on more of a meritocracy kind of thing, but also because he liked flouting tradition and he really liked getting under other people's skin. One, just kind of a sadistic jerk about a lot of things, but two, a pissed off enemy is one that's not necessarily thinking the best. And if somebody's really upset, well, not only do you have them thrown off their game, but you can also create a lot of pretext for going to war with people if they've been just actively insulting you and screaming at you when it's decisions that are made in your own domain. It has nothing to do with them, even though you're purposely doing it just to piss somebody else off. Anyways, there's lots to think about, lots to cover. I mean, for something that I just settled on, I've already got a lot of ideas spinning around about it. It's just getting those conveyed in a way that makes sense, where I'm not getting myself lost in the sauce and circularly talking as I spin the drain down of exhaustion. But we'll get to that eventually. Thank you so very much for your time. I hope you've all had yourselves a great day. I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow because it's the first time in a couple of months since gaming yet again, and I get to do it again. There's also that too. Yeah, I've got some brain power, a fair bit of brain power being devoted towards running a game of 5th edition, which is going to be so much fun. Let you know how that goes as well. Anyways, thank you all so very much for your time. I appreciate your understanding. I hope you all have yourselves a good night, and I just hope, if nothing else, that this channel is a nice little refuge every now and then. I know there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of concerns out there. And not that I want this to be super heavy or turn into a place where we talk about the rest of the world in a current climate kind of a thing. There's plenty of that going on, though. Plenty of places to talk about those things. It's nice to just have a spot to just shut your brain off for a while, think about gaming, think about other things, and all of that. But yeah, here I am circling down the drain again. We'll wrap this up now. Thank you all so very much for your time. Good gaming to you all. Happy holidays, and you all have a good night.